Simple Life presents risks everyone needs to take in life. If life is really like a game, the key difference would be that you don't have a choice in whether you want to play it or not. It's one big table and everyone has a seat. But that difference doesn't mean that there's nothing to risk. Think of life and risk as the same thing. Everything about life is a risk. You could get into an accident or become ill at any moment. These are the everyday normal kind of risks that you often can't avoid. It's the risks you have to actively search for and make a part of your life that matter most. They can bring you pain if they go wrong, which is the biggest reason people avoid them. But they also make life worth living when they go right. Life is a series of calculated risks, nothing more. Everything that you decide to do has a margin of risk. No outcome is ever 100% certain and, therefore, any attempt at anything has a chance of complete failure. Here are some risks everyone need to take in life. 1. Risk getting turned down. That girl at the bar, any girl at the bar, might turn you down. The same goes for whenever you are asking anything of anyone. More often than not, we get turned down not because of us, but because of the individual that is rejecting our request. It doesn't matter whether you are trying to get someone's number or asking them to pass you a napkin. You'll always meet that person who will refuse to even pay you any attention. We hate being rejected, so we often fail to even ask. If you don't ask, then you won't be answered. If you don't ask, you're getting answered no, and you are not giving yourself any chance of receiving a yes. 2. Risk not getting the job. You won't always be the best qualified. You won't always be the smartest, brightest or best fit for the job. There will also be times when we are best suited for the position and you still get turned down. That's simply the way life is, but you still need to put yourself on the line and risk being turned down for your dream position. Often, people get hired simply because they seem hungry and seem like they'll get along very well with the rest of the team. Experience isn't always the determining factor. Risking not getting the job is the same as risking landing it. 3. Risk failing. Failing is both the worst and best thing that can happen to you. When you don't fail, you succeed. When you do fail, you succeed at figuring out another way of not doing it. It just doesn't feel quite as good. We too often allow our emotions to get in the way of logic. If you don't risk failing, then you can't succeed. Success requires risking failure, and that is true 100% of the time. 4. Risk putting it all on the line. If we do things right, there will be a time in our lives that we will have to decide whether we want to put it all on the line and roll the dice. My suggestion is to do so, and to do so earlier on in life. The later you risk losing everything, the more difficult it will be to bounce back. The biggest rewards often require the largest risks. Just be smart about it and make sure you know exactly what you are risking and exactly what you would be getting as a reward. 5. Risk missing out to achieve something greater. Fear of missing out among Generation Y is real. We don't want to miss out on parties, get-togethers, chill sessions, festivals, concerts, nights out on the town. We're afraid that staying in and getting some rest will make us miss out on something huge or life-changing. Think about this. You've been making sure that you haven't missed out on anything for years. How many of those experiences made a positive change in your life? 6. Risk that person not saying, "I love you too." No one wants to be the first one to say, "I love you." Not hearing, "I love you," back can hurt. Imagine how great it will feel if that person does love you back. He or she is most likely worrying about the same thing, waiting for you to make a move. If that person doesn't love you back, then at least you know where things stand and can disillusion yourself. 7. Risk making a mistake. Mistakes need to be made if you want to succeed in life. It's how we learn. If you're not making mistakes, then you're not trying enough things. In other words, you're not living enough. Risk making those mistakes because they are the things that make our lives interesting enough to read about. 8. Risk losing friendships. Friendships can be great, but they can also be very restrictive. Following our dreams usually involves quite a bit of solitude. Friendships make it very difficult to take the time that you need to get the work done that needs to get done. In my opinion, true friends should support you and your dreams no matter what. They should understand that you may have to distance yourself a bit more and work together to keep the friendship alive, even if you don't see each other that much. 9. Risk not being good enough. There's always a chance that you won't be good enough. But again, isn't that something that you'd like to know? The fact is that you're either good enough or not good enough. Often, when we think we are good enough, we aren't. This is important information to have because it informs you how much more work you need to put in before you can succeed. You will never know if you're good enough if you don't risk not being good enough. 10. Risk launching too early. We often wait until we perfect our product, before we put it on the market. Regardless of whether it's a physical device, a service or our very selves. The truth is that no one comes out with the perfect product or service the first time around. The perfect anything depends on the feedback that you receive from others. This feedback only comes after several iterations of testing. If you wait too long to launch, you are missing out on critical learning. 11. Risk putting yourself out there and being judged. We hate being judged even though we do it all the time, and we are being judged all the time. Everyone always judges that what we do. Put yourself out there and be judged. Since you're not selling yourself to everyone, most people won't be a significant part of your life. Most of their opinions don't matter anyway. 12. Risk admitting that you don't know. Not knowing is not something to be embarrassed about. There is a very fine line between knowing and not knowing. For example, you know absolutely nothing about a topic and 2 minutes later, after someone explains something to you, you instantly know something new. It's crazy. It only took a few minutes, if not seconds. Knowledge is the easiest thing to accumulate, but only if you ask questions and risk admitting your lack of knowledge. 13. Risk opening up and being vulnerable. When it comes to relationships, opening up and revealing your full, true self is necessary. It's a requirement of love. If you don't open yourself up and make yourself vulnerable, your partner will never see the real you. Therefore will never be able to love you for the real you. You have to risk it all to have it all. You have to risk giving yourself fully to the person whom you love if you want to experience the deepest level of love possible. Did you take the above-mentioned risks in your life? Check out the link below for your free audiobook from Audible. If you like the video, do subscribe, like, and comment. Do hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification. Thank you for watching.